They didn't argue with him, nor offer a single word of defense. The guards gripped him firmly, dragging him through the palace corridors as officials shouted, pointed, and made threats, their faces twisted in anger and fear. The truth had struck fear into the hearts of the powerful men, and so, in dimly lit chambers, they huddled together, whispering, plotting in secrecy, making plans to silence a voice they could not control. They led him to a place where no one could hear him, a dark, deep pit meant to swallow his voice and erase his presence, lowering him carefully while the walls seemed to close in, dripping with mud and shadow. He didn't fall quickly, but sank slowly, his body pressing into thick mud, hands clawing at the slick stone walls, the silence growing heavier with each passing moment, the darkness pressing around him like a living weight. Above ground, life continued as if nothing had changed. Markets buzzed, children played, and merchants shouted their prices, completely unaware that below them, a prophet was trapped, struggling for his very life. But one man, Ebed-Melech, a servant who had long observed the injustice, overheard the whispers of danger and felt a surge of alarm and courage, realizing he could not simply stand by while life was being threatened. With steady resolve, he approached the king's throne, his steps deliberate, his heart pounding, and spoke boldly in a room where silence had seemed safest, challenging fear with courage and urgent words. The king hesitated, weighing the risk, then finally nodded, giving a quiet but decisive command, and in that brief moment, the tension of the court shifted as hope found a small, fragile opening. There were no swords, no army ready to storm the palace. Only old, worn cloths were gathered quickly, rolled and tied, as courage borrowed from necessity prepared to save a life that seemed beyond saving. The soft cloths were lowered first into the pit, moving gently through the darkness, guided carefully so that the prophet could be lifted safely, without the ropes tearing or dragging him back into the mud that clung to every inch of his body. Hands pulled together with all their strength, ropes straining, bodies leaning back against gravity. The mud fought to hold him down, but ultimately the combined effort overcame the weight, and the prophet began to rise once more into the light. At last, the prophet was free, gasping and covered in mud, and Ebed-Melech quietly stepped back, unnoticed, unsung, a hero who had acted with faith and courage. From this story, we learn that true bravery is not always visible, and sometimes the most righteous deeds are done in silence, guided by faith and moral courage.